The email that Prince Andrew sent to Jeffrey Epstein in February 2011 is problematic for a number of reasons. Firstly, the date on it. It was sent on the 28th of February 2011. That's the day after the photograph of Prince Andrew with his arm around Virginia Giuffre was published in the newspapers. And Prince Andrew sent an email to Jeffrey Epstein in which he said that we would rise above this, we're in this together, and we will play again soon. It's excruciating to read it. But what's also problematic is not just the content of this email, but it's what Prince Andrew has said about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein in the past. He sat with Emily Maitlis on that infamous Newsnight interview and insisted that December 2010, when he went for that walk in Central Park in New York with Jeffrey Epstein, was his final contact with the convicted paedophile, that he had gone to New York specifically to break off his friendship with Epstein, that he felt it was the honourable thing to do. And after that, he was asked whether he had had any more contact with him, and he insisted no. What is now clear is that he lied about that. This email came more than 2 months after that. So Prince Andrew was misleading the public in his Newsnight interview. He may not have been convicted in a court of law because he reached a settlement. He has not been found guilty and he continues to protest his innocence. But what this email shows is that he is a liar, that he lied to the public about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. It was not over when he said it was. And that friendship continued despite Jeffrey Epstein having been convicted and jailed for soliciting prostitution with a minor. What this email tells us is that Prince Andrew lied in that interview to Emily Maitlis on Newsnight. He insisted that December 2010 was his final contact with Jeffrey Epstein, the so-called honourable goodbye. That's now not true. Prince Andrew lied about that. If he was prepared to lie about that, then what else was he not telling the truth about? He has maintained his innocence. He has continued to protest his innocence. But how can anyone believe that now when it is clear that he wasn't telling the truth? He continued to have a relationship and a friendship with Jeffrey Epstein after he had apparently cut it off, after Jeffrey Epstein had been jailed for child sex offences. And not only did he continue to just have a friendship with him, he talked about playing again soon. It's pretty sickening to read. This is really damaging for the royal family because the revelations about Prince Andrew and indeed Sarah Ferguson just keep on coming. And every time they cause more damage to the reputation of the family. Yes, the king has distanced the family from Andrew on a public level. Prince Andrew has no public role anymore and he will not be seen at public events and at state events. But they've always drawn the line when it comes to family, and he remains part of the family. And that means he does rock up at the funeral, for example, of the Duchess of Kent and stand on the steps of Westminster Cathedral trying to make light-hearted conversation with his pretty displeased nephew, Prince William. He keeps on rocking up to those events. The same for the memorial service for King Constantine of Greece, when the King, the Princess of Wales were both undergoing treatment for cancer. They weren't there. And Prince William couldn't be there on the day either. Prince Andrew seized that opportunity, and there he was striding down the hill from Windsor Castle to St George's Chapel, leading the royal family with great glee. He has a distinct inability to read the room, to recognise where he is not wanted. And that's big problem for the royal family. What do they do about him? It's hard to ban someone from turning up at a family funeral. The king doesn't relish confrontation. I think he had hoped that the levers he has pulled so far by removing Prince Andrew's allowance, by removing his security funding, that might prompt him to do the right thing and to move out of his 30-room mansion at Royal Lodge and to lie low. That hasn't happened. yet. And that is difficult for the royal family, because as long as Prince Andrew continues to be seen in public, and as long as these revelations keep on coming, the damage keeps on piling on. There's a lot of talk about what the king can do. The king doesn't like confrontation, and he knows that Prince Andrew was protected by his late mother. Charles is his brother, and he has tried to maintain that line between family and public duty. There also are limitations as to what he can do. Prince Andrew has a lease with the Crown estate. It's a cast iron lease, and he is clinging on to that. His title, the Duke of York, it's not in the King's power alone to remove that title. That is an act of Parliament that would require the government to take that. Could he be exiled somewhere abroad? Has been one of the questions been asked. Well, look, if you can't get him to move out of Royal Lodge in Windsor, how are you going to get him to leave the country? So it is a big problem for the royal family. And I think it's one that Prince William particularly would like to see a firmer line taken on.